Hey y'all, welcome to It's All Relative with B. Rally. So, I've been thinking about this for a little bit and I wanted to come on and have a little quick conversation about the things that are taking place in the hood. And I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I think that we tend to split in the Black community the cause of what's happening and the effect of what also happens in the community. And it seems like we really care a great deal about money and status. And so we will uplift our local drug dealers. We will know that they are selling drugs and we will say, oh, but he's the man. He's got this nice car. He's got this, he's got that. And then, like, we allow them, it's the Nino Brown of it all. Nino Brown was regarded by many people in the hood. He gave back. He was giving out toys for Christmas and turkeys and all this other stuff. But we don't ever seemingly, in the way that I look at it, we don't have conversation and we actually don't admonish them. Because when we talk about crackheads and fiends and how that then shows up in our families, we don't immediately relate that to the drug dealer in our community. And I'm wondering why. Why is that? People go away to jail and we send money on their books and we talk badly about people that don't put money on their books. And I've had relatives that went away to jail and they were like, so and so didn't put money on my books, forget them, they acted like I was dead. But you made some choices to go there. Nobody else made those choices. You made those choices. So now why gotta do this time with you? To go on jail visits and hear about people that have come 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, and they're bringing children and all kinds of things to this to this visit. And it's not funny, but I'm just like, it's really, it's so expensive. And now in the jail they've got tablets, at least in our local jail, which they don't even call a jail anymore, but in my local jail, you have tablets. And so the family then pays for them to be able to text, watch movies. So they are taking out and they are depleting from the family. And there is no money that they've got. They cannot raise kids or do anything. They can only take from the family to, be taken care of, even though they get three hots and a cot in the jailhouse. So they're not starving. Nobody's starving in there, right? And then we celebrate them when they come home. I don't know how many parties I've seen, like, woohoo, they came home. And I guess for me, I'm just wondering, do we celebrate our kids getting out of detention? Because it's kind of the same thing. If kids get ISS and detention, we go, have you learned your lesson? And when people come home from jail and prison, we don't go, have you learned your lesson? Show me how. We go, and let me make sure that you got and you're taken care of. How is that not harmful to the greater community? Because that's just it. Somebody in the community then has to buy the drugs. And if they're buying the drugs, then where did they get that money from? Who did they take it from? Like, and what are they doing? And how are the children in their lives and parents in their lives, the family in their lives, how are they dealing with it? And then I know people that have gotten with drug dealers, they had a lot of money and then they went away and then the money dried up. And so then is the net effect, what is it? And it's negative, because if you get a whole bunch of money, even we'll take Freeway Rick Ross, right? Ricky Rose, is that who, not the rapper but the drug dealer? I think Snowfall was about him, right? It was based on him. Look at what happened to that community. And then they go away for 20 and 30 years. Like, people, we look at Nikki Barnes, we had, American Gangsters. That who it was Frank Lucas. American Gangster was about Frank Lucas, but Nikki Barnes was someone else. Like, we've got all of the guys, all of their names, and Griselda and all, but I'm not talking about her because she wasn't part of our community, although she did come into our community and help to take down our community. So when we talk about we need to do these things in the Black community, we could start with just holding accountable people that are harming our community. If we don't think that the drug dealer is harmful to our community, that is problematic. And the other thing about that, thinking about that and how it shows up. So I'm gonna make a correlation. Follow me. And y'all might get a little upset, and that's okay. I done been in worse places. Jay-Z, right? So we talk, I just saw this thing, they were talking, someone was talking about Gary Owens being a culture vulture. And that he is a white man in black spaces and making money off of black people. But I would say, I feel like, ugh, and I'm going to say it, is Jay-Z not then a culture vulture? Because what Jay-Z has done, and I have nuanced feelings because on the one hand, he made it from where we made it from. So he allows us to dream in a color that I don't know that we've ever been able to dream of. He came from Marcy Projects. He had a talent. He took that talent and he rode that talent all the way, to billionaire status. What did he do? And he did sell drugs. So we're talking about the drug dealers. So he did sell drugs. And so that was harmful to the community. And I think sometimes we get a little confused when he again takes from the community. And when I say he's a culture vulture, I mean Barclays came, the people in Brooklyn did not want the Barclays to be in Brooklyn. And I could see why. I went to a concert there some months ago and I was late. Baby, that traffic was horrendous. I had to park further away from the Barclays and then Uber to the Barclays in order to see the concert. So I know that that's got to be really problematic for people in Brooklyn that live in that neighborhood. Like when they've got a concert, it's like shit, right? You're not going to find the parking or whatever. So that could make it really nuanced. Then there was the NFL. And Colin Kaepernick was out here like, listen, I'm kneeling. And he had the afro and these people were boycotting and the whole thing. And then here came Jay-Z, and he was like, I'll make it black. And so, the Super Bowls since then have been blackety black, black. But we essentially were fighting. And remember, they had told, I think it was Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump had told him to shut up and dribble the ball. That's when he was talking to LeBron. But they had said, hey, you cut that kneeling business out. So while actively kneeling, and I mean, there was a little bit of a problem with that too, because Kaepernick still wanted to play, even though he was blacklisted. And I understood his struggle, but it was kind of like, when you are suing your employer, I don't know that you get to keep your job or that you're going to enjoy your job, because the people are going to be looking at you crazy and probably treating you crazy. So if you're going to sue your job, you should probably know that you are not going to be able to stay working there. So there's that, but I digress. I'm just saying that we were actively like, hell no to the NFL. And, and then Jay-Z was like, I'll be the music director. I don't know that that is helpful to the Black cause. And now Jay-Z is out here partnering with the Target. Now listen, okay? All right, I'm gonna be honest. Have I shopped at Target? Yes. I live in a podunk town and it is very difficult for me to not go to the Target for some things. Some things I need to run to the Target for. However, people that know me know I used to spend time and lots of money in the Target, and I do not spend what I used to spend. And it seems like Target, their profit shares have risen. So I'm not the only one that's shopping at the Target. So Black people have done that. But is the point? Jay-Z, how come? Why would you go over there to Target? You could partner with anyone. Why would you partner with Target? And I'm sure Target was the biggest, they wrote the biggest check. And so that's just it. If you will harm your own people by selling drugs in the community, sure, you will commodify and you will make money off of the Black community and the Black culture for sure. And so lots of things happen in Black culture that we don't do anything about. Like, it would be really simple to let Jay-Z know that he made the wrong choice by partnering with Target if we didn't go to Jay-Z's concert. Now, you talking to someone, I went to the Roots picnic and I only went to the Roots picnic because Jay-Z was going. Heard you, got it. With all of those things going on, and I was willing to go, all right, Jay, I don't like it, but right? I had this conversation with someone else and they were like, you don't get to talk about Jay-Z because you don't know all the things that he does. And I went, okay. Like, so I tried really hard to give Jay-Z the benefit of the doubt. I know, right? He got people out of jail. They have scholarships and they have projects where they help get people out of jail. So he does do that. But also at the same time, to do what is, I feel like, harmful to Black people, and harmful in the sense that Black people as a culture, we are out here marching, kneeling, and saying, hey, this isn't okay to treat us this way. And then Jay-Z, they give you a check because he's a capitalist and he right on over there and he's like, yeah, don't even worry about that, I'll make it all right. That's why they reach out to him, that's why they tap him, they go tap tap tap, and he's like, yeah, give it here. So at some point, I don't know. I have this conversation a lot with my partner about capitalism, and I am not a proponent. I don't like capitalism. I like socio capitalism because I think this end stage capitalism is just terrible. We don't seem to care about people, and that's essentially where we are. We don't care about people like we should. And again, to the Black community, that's who I'm talking to. When do we start to care more about us than we do money? And I don't know, right? I don't have the answers, but I certainly would like to start having the conversation. And my boss recently, she goes, y'all got to stop inviting everybody to the cookout. And that is, she's 1000% correct. And I've been saying that everybody that, blow a saxophone, Bill Clinton, they don't belong over here in our, at the cookout. You have got to prove your allyship, and that's got to look differently, than it's looking. Because even right now, all skin folk ain't your kinfolk. Jay-Z is our skin folk. I don't know that he's our kinfolk, which just only makes me revert back to my thing. It's all about socioeconomics. It's not really about race. And as the Black, delegation, we have the power to determine who's relevant, who's going to be over here, who gets to be over here. Like, we get that say so. If we stopped supporting people that are harming our community, then they would get the hint. But we want so desperately, like what everybody else wants, and it seemingly is proximity to power. And right now, that proximity to power is whiteness, and money helps you get there. So that's what it is. Because I can't think of any other reason why Jay-Z, he does know, and he's very smart. So to know that Black people said we not fool along with Target, and more so Target than anyone else, because Target felt like an ally. Target had their Black History, campaign every year. People Black from our community, like Tabitha Brown, we could, and other smaller brands were being put on at Target. So Target just felt like, yeah, they was with us. And when Donald Trump, pulled that, rollback of DEI, and Target did it, Target, you ain't have to do it. And we know you didn't have to do it. You could have stayed silent, but you got in line. It does feel so, what do I want to say? It's hurtful because it feels like you played in our face. And like the conversation, the people will say, why is everything about race? Because everything is about race. I was watching, I'm off topic, I'm going left, but I'm gonna come back right. Okay, good. I was watching the Hulk Hogan documentary, and I remembered Hulk Hogan from Hulkamania. Like, my grandma watched wrestling. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So when billions of years later that Hulk Hogan would use the N-word, I wish that we would have known that, because if we'd have known that, then we wouldn't have supported Hulk, right? That's the reason why we want to know where it's at. Because certainly I don't want to give you my Black dollar if you don't think highly of me. If you're not fucking with me, let me know, and I won't give you my money, and we could be good, right? That's what we like. You sit over there and we'll sit over here. So, and that's not us making it about race. That's other people making it about race, because nobody told Hulk that he needed to ever use that word, right? Like, my family's from Florida. and they conjugate the word cracker. Like I cracker, 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 cracker. That's what they say. That's not in my vocabulary. I do not use it. Um, it's just not something that I use. And I'll say white people, but I don't feel like I use derogatory terms about anybody. I love the word nigga and I'm black, so I could say it. And sometimes it just feels good on my tongue. But that's also like the word fuck. I really like that word too. And sometimes there isn't another word that you could replace that gives it that umph. You need to say fuck sometimes, and you gotta be able to say nigga sometimes. And I think that's the ancestral, you know what I'm saying, blood that runs through my veins that that I feel like I have to say the word nigga sometimes. And if I could be honest with you, I've struggled with that word. I said it and then I didn't say it and now I'm back to saying it again. And I stopped saying it when I watched the movie Django, when the character, Samuel L. Jackson's character, excuse me, Steven, was like, who's that nigga on that man? And in that moment, it made me say, oh my goodness, to say it in that way, it's kind of that, I can only see another black man through the eyes of our oppressor and slave master. And so that's why, they say it. And I was like, I'm done saying it. But then I really was like, oh, but sometimes, right? It's like the word bitch. Sometimes bitch is appropriate and it's necessary. Sometimes I gotta call my people and I gotta go bitch, right? Because it gives a little umph on that thing. So I felt the same way about nigga. And listen, I'm saying like if we together as the as the black delegation said that we not saying the word nigga no more, like all right. I definitely though only think that nigga should be said in the company of, like, as Wendy Williams would say, kitchen table talk. Like I feel like nigga sometimes just belongs over here because remember, y'all may be too young to know my these people that are watching are old enough. I think it was in Brooklyn. It was in Queens. They were chasing a mob of, that was another reason why I was like, oh, I don't know how I like this word. I think we should use this word. A mob of white people were chasing a black man to beat him up, and they were yelling racial slurs. They were yelling the nigga. And so their defense was that, well, it's used as a term of endearment. No angry white mob chasing a black man is saying it as a word of endearment. So I was like, oh, they finna play in our faces with it? Then never mind, let's just not do it. But again, we know how the criminal justice system works for people of color, which also, as I go back, now I'm going back right again. I went left, I'm back right. That's the other part. We don't, again, not talking about the cause and the effect. So we talk about the the school to prison pipeline of, in the fourth, when children are in the fourth grade, it's their fourth grade reading levels, I believe, that they test, and that's what determines how many jails that they're going to build. We already know that the criminal justice system is rigged, and it's not rigged in our favor, and yet we will know that people in our family and in our community are engaging in, this in illegal activity, and we don't say nothing about it. And then when they end up in a jailhouse, now again we crying, cut it out, stop it. No. And I say it's about money because, I hang with my little 20-year-olds, my daughter and her friends. Those are like my other daughters. I love them. And one of them was like, I just want a Chanel bag. And I was like, oh, sis, tell me why. And she's like, I don't know. I just want one. And it's because I think it's a status symbol, and it says like I've made it. It says I've made money. And why do we love these luxury name brands that don't give a fuck about us, right? Like at all. Remember now, I'm talking about Jay-Z real quick. Cristal was the thing that he promoted, and then Cristal said, "That ain't for you niggas." That's really what happened. They went, "No, that's not for you. We don't want you to have it." And then he went on to, get his own. I guess it was the Ace of Spades. I don't freaking know because I don't like to taste alcohol, so I'm really not a fan of drinking. But it's that, and so, but we want Chanel and Givenchy, and we want YSL, we want all of that, and they let us know they're not checking for us, never. Didn't it? Was it last year? Maybe it was 2 years ago when they were making those racist clothes where they had like people with nooses and they had blackface with the big red lips, and still we supporting them. And our younger kids, that's what they want and have decided that this is what is popular and what is a status symbol. Like, we have got to do better. And that really is that. That's on us. That really ain't got nothing to do. We could just decide not to do certain things. So we could take our dollar and we could show people that we mean business and that we're not going to support these brands. And now, right, we are fighting with the Asians. And so we are boycotting the Asians. And in my little small hometown, I need more black nail techs. Like, where are they at? We could do more and we could do better about where we spend our dollar. Let's have this conversation. But also, sometimes these newfangled hairdressers and nail techs, like, I do not have time. My daughter was getting her nails done, and wherever she was going, she was like taking her nails off. And I was like, girl, what are you doing? And she was like, she says she doesn't she doesn't go over other people's work. Oh, cut that out. Cut that out right freaking now. Cut it out. Who's got time? And so, me thinking about using her, I don't got time for all that. So I just like the way that she shaped the nails. I'm like, oh, you know what? I could make an appointment and fine, I'll take these off. I'll let her put them on, and then I'll go find someone else who's going to go over, her work. Like, cut it out. Stop making it difficult. We got to have these bookings, and yeah, we're doing too much. I just no, thank you. Now they don't wash hair and all that other stuff, and I don't went off on a tangent, but I'm back. I'm sorry. We just need to do so much better. We could really come together and we really could change the world. Really, if Black people could come together, that would change the world, the entire world, because we are the trendsetters. We tell everybody, we tell the globe what is popular, what's popping. That is what we do. We set the tone. We are that. And if so, just imagine that if people really wanted to be a part of our clique and we weren't so quick to sell each other out and to not hold one another accountable. And that's really the thing. It's about accountability, right? Like, I am not going to the Chris Brown concert. And why are you not going to the Chris Brown concert, Sherelle? I heard it was an amazing. I heard his last one was an amazing concert because he likes to put his hands on the women still. And so I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, okay, fine. He did his time. He had his probation. He was wilding out for a bit, but maybe Chris is different. But then I just saw it was a couple months ago, I saw something where he was still arguing and getting in people for, no, 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 and still putting the hands, no, 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 no. And so we can't say, oh, abuse of women is problematic and then support people that are abusing women. We can't have it both ways. And all we have to do is just go, hey, Chris, you got to stop putting your hands on the women. And when you do, we will come back and see you. But for now, you have to go sit on a timeout. It is okay to hold people accountable and put them on the timeouts. And we do that with our money. And the minute that we do that, people, would take us a little bit more seriously. I do think, like, the bus boycott that worked for Black people in the 50s and 60s, I don't think it works that way today. We have to do something a little bit different, just because we have to do something that is solely right for Black people, which is for the Asians, it's the hair business. If we stopped buying hair, and so I guess now we're talking to Black women, if we stopped, and I know it's like, why should we have to do it and be responsible for, these changes? I hear y'all, sis. I really do. I get it. And not even because I'm natural, I promise you. And not that I don't enjoy, seeing women in their fantastic wigs, but unless we are going to have our own wig lines and whatnot, and not the ones, not like white labeling it so that it really was in our wheelhouse. But that's the problem about, manufacturing. We don't manufacture shit. That's our problem. So we just need to do a little bit more work. And we need to be having more conversations, and we need not get so defensive. We need to, hear accountability as a whole and be okay with it. And so it just takes a little bit more conversation, I guess. I don't know, but to go back to, and I'm not knocking people that have been to jail. I support people. That was my whole life for 10 years of supporting individuals who were in the criminal justice system. But it really is like, y'all stop going back, please. And yes, were there things going on in their childhood? Absolutely. But that then we got to have conversation about what really go on in the house, and that would require us to be okay to have healthy conversation and dialogue about parenting and the roles, and not, who's right, who's wrong, and to have conversation about accountability. So I don't know. I don't know what we do, but I think we got to figure out something and start there. And, looking at our celebrities and athletes to do more, I don't know, right? Because I think that also falls to us in the community to then stop supporting them. If we stop supporting all of the people that were harmful to our community, people would be less likely to commit those acts that were harmful if they knew that. And I'm not saying cancel, I just feel like time out maybe. Like let's go put them in the corner for a bit, because I don't believe in canceling, especially Black people. At one point, I was like, "All right, boom, I'm not gonna talk bad about any Black person, like forward facing, and only privately." But how else can we have these conversations unless we have them together? Just so we could begin to have conversation and maybe change the way that we think a bit. There has to be something, but we can't keep going like we're going with status quo. We just can't. And so there's that. So I'm not singling out Jay-Z and saying he's the worst. I'm just saying, God damn, that sucks that you would go to Target, who, Black people just, we have beef with, even if we're on the fence. And again, some of us still patronizing the store, but we're doing the best that we can with what we got. Like, but why would you do that when you could go anywhere else? You could have put it out under, don't you still got Title or something else? Like, you could have just put it out on jz.com and it still would have sold just as much. So, and again, because he's a capitalist. And so when do we care more about we than I? And I think like that's the definition of a coon. I think a coon thinks more about I rather than we. And I think we have to do a little bit better thinking about we collectively. How can we make us better? I don't know, but we got to do something. So, anywho, food for thought. I hope you guys have a great one. Bye.